Mr. President, colleagues, I want to commend the senator from the 31st and the House member and good friend of mine for actually, not to offend anybody, for actually bringing the first legitimate school safety bill before this body. Cell phones have become a serious cancer in our classrooms. Just a few minutes ago, about an hour ago, I met my page today, a young lady named Stormy from Meriwether County, goes to a small private school there. They implemented this very policy last year at her school, and her school is kindergarten through 12th grade. And I asked her, I said, what did it do to you? And she said, it gave me back my focus. She said, kids are doing a lot better interacting with each other. They're not as distracted with each other. But from a public safety standpoint, I don't think anybody really appreciates the chaos around an incident that happens at a school when, if you're looking at a large school, you've got about 600 children texting 911 or calling their parents. You have about 1,200 parents calling 911 or calling the school during these incidents, and you have people texting rumors galore about where the bad guy is or where the storm hit. And you have first responders trying to get there, and they're being fed a lot of misinformation because it's coming from all different directions. And this is a huge first step in clearing up the communication lines. And as I was sitting at my desk, I was handed the minority report. And I have a saying sometimes I use, and I know my brain doesn't work like many people in this room, and I think that's to everybody in this room's advantage, probably except mine, because I think there are people in this room a whole lot smarter than I am and a whole lot more articulate than I am. But reading the minority report reminds me of what I say, where sometimes I believe this is the building that you bring a plastic plant to if you want it to die, because there's zero logic, zero oxygen, anything in this building at times. And in the minority report I read, it is the responsibility of teachers to maintain the attention of their students. Absolutely. So let's do what the senator from the 53rd said. Let's empower those teachers to run their classrooms again. Let's take the fear away from them of running their classrooms again. Let's take the fear away from them for sending an undisciplined student whose parents choose not to take care of that student to the office, and let that child be disciplined and removed from those children that want to learn in the classroom. It said, what if parents try to contact their students to make sure they are safe? Well, that is not the time for parents to reach out to their students to make sure they're safe. Students, every school in Georgia is required to have an emergency action plan. We mandated that, and it's on file at GMA, and they are required to follow that plan. And part of that plan is not to have Randy Robertson call Winbrook School and ask if Andy Robertson is safe. My problem is to sit down, be a responsible parent, and trust the school to follow their emergency action plan. Their calls will go unanswered because their children's phones will be locked away. Yes. And what if a student needs to film an incident that isn't caught on school security camera? I can't even speak to that. We should teach students to catch the proverbial fish for themselves. Amen. We should teach children to be responsible. And to teach them to be responsible, they need to understand that they go to class, they sit in their desk, they follow the instructions of their teachers. If there's an emergency, they follow the instructions of their teachers. If it's a weather emergency, they follow the instructions of their teachers and the drills they've been given. If it's a much more dangerous situation than that, they follow the instructions of their teachers. We keep communication lines safe and clear. I cannot thank the senator from the 31st enough. I cannot thank the House sponsor enough for doing this. I know my brother from the 30th understands exactly the passion we have when we have to respond to something that involves children, whether it's an active shooter, whether it's a tornado, or any other thing. But we need to go there with the confidence to know what we're going into and it cannot be a hurricane created by thousands of phone calls going in and out of 911 and to the phones of everybody in the community. Thank you all, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Senator's yielded.